I just did an entire review on the Battle Horse Knives BusyBee. Microphone was off. Hey guys, Ernie here, Paleo Hiker MD, and welcome to the first review that I do for the Outdoor Arena. I'll put a link below for the Outdoor Arena webpage. It's a group of guys that are doing a review ring similar to the Gauntlet. I was lucky enough to be asked to be part of that ring. And today we're going to look at the Battle Horse Knives BusyBee. So stay tuned and let's check it out. Okay guys, so here we are. We're going to take a look at the Battle Horse Knives BusyBee. We're going to do this in two different sections. It's raining today, so we're going to take a look at it here in the shop. And we're going to try to look at the build quality and see if we think, just from holding the knife, looking at the knife, what we can tell about it and how well it was crafted and manufactured. This was made here in America, handmade. We'll take a look first at the sheath itself. Now, if any of you guys have ever tried to make leather goods, you very quickly realize what are the things that are hard to do. To me, it's hard to get this really nice varnished edge, and the stitching is just extremely consistent, and it's just a very nice sheath. What I like about it the most is that it's really simple. There are great danglers out there. There's all kinds of stuff. You can have ferro rods attached to them. But in the end, it is so nice to see a simple, elegant, quality leather sheath that comes with your knife. As far as the knife itself, first impressions, you hold this knife. It feels good. My father has owned many, many knives in his day, and still does. And saw this sitting on my desk at the office, picked it up, put it in his hand, and he said, I like the feel of this knife. That means something to me, and I think it should mean something to anybody when somebody who has a lot of experience holding knives, has held a lot of knives in their life, and knows what quality is. The shape of the handle itself is ergonomic, and it's very comfortable. I don't know what it is, but I have plenty of knives that are just kind of come straight across and don't have these little finger grooves. The finger grooves on this knife make it extremely comfortable. It's easy. I have pretty large hands. I wear extra large gloves in any one that I can because I can never find a glove. Never found a glove that's too big. And it just feels extremely good in the hand. It has three very nice pins to hold together. It has a lanyard hole in the back. Scales are micarta. This is a polished micarta. And it's just very nice. It's heavy, it feels good in the hand. You just know how to feel quality when you put it in your hands. And this knife really does feel like quality. Now, a lot of you guys might say, oh, you know, he's getting paid for this review. I mean, he's getting a free knife. I'm not getting paid, and this knife's not mine. We just pass it on. We do this for fun, really. We get to hold cool stuff like this. This is an honest review. And I challenge any of you guys to hold this knife and not feel like it's a really nice knife. So a couple of details, things that I look for in a knife, maybe some pet peeves. You can see right here, this knife is ground right here to this line. On this side, it is ground right here to this line. Now, on quite a few knives that I own, the level to which this is ground is not the same as the level to which this is ground. And what I mean by that is one side will be skewed off just a little bit. This knife, if you can see, and I hope you can, is absolutely ground perfectly so that each side matches. Now that's done simply by attention to detail. You can be a millimeter off, the knife will function just fine, but if you're like me and you stare at it and you see it off, it frustrates you. Why? You just paid $150 for this thing. It's a $150 knife. And to me, That detail is what sets it apart from another manufacturer, a big box store, one of these big companies that just pounds out knife after knife. This is made out of 01 tool steel. You got to take good care of it. So what are we looking at for specs? 5/32 of an inch thick on the blade, 8 9/16 overall length with a 3.5 inch cutting blade. 3.5 inch cutting blade is a little smaller than what I would normally want out of a bushcraft knife, but as long as you know its limitations, you're going to get great use out of this. You can't go batoning huge pieces of wood, but it's a smaller knife. It's easier to handle. I think in many ways it's safer to handle. So a little bit of a smaller size cutting blade is okay with me. This is probably the smallest I would go as far as a cutting blade for a bushcraft style knife, but overall excellent. The last review of this knife, who shall remain nameless, underneath his link is there, got some really green sticks and was shaving off the bark with this, and it got a very strong black patina on it. Part of this ring is not really refinishing the edge, trying to get the edge to run through the whole ring and maintain. That kind of shows you the quality of the knife. All I'm going to do to this knife is strop it, and I'll use it with just after a nice stropping. It could use some additional attention, but I will refrain from doing that for the purposes of the review itself. So first impressions, guys, here in the shop while it's rainy outside. This knife feels really good in the hand. It looks to be of extremely good quality, and quite frankly it should be. A $150 knife should be a good quality knife, and this definitely is. I don't see any way that these scales are coming off, even with pretty significant abuse, and I think that the 01 tool steel is great for maintaining an edge if you take good care of it. You gotta oil it down, you gotta wash it down, you gotta make sure that it's rust free. So it's not a user-friendly steel if you don't like taking care of your tools. But if you don't mind putting in just a little bit of effort, this is the kind of steel that will really last you a long time. So we are going to put it away for the day, and through the magic of YouTube, we're going to fast forward to a day when it's not raining outside. Guys, so here we are in my backyard here by the barn. What I use bushcraft knives for is mainly wood processing and fire lighting. I do use them for some tasks like making tent pegs and stuff like that. So I'm going to concentrate today on just a classic bushcraft scenario where I'm going to baton down some wood and try to make some shavings or some curls, and then start a fire with my ferro rod and some fat wood. So let's get going. So guys, we have various sizes of wood here as far as thickness goes. We'll kind of start with our thickest. This is probably on the one side about 3 inches thick, and honestly this is probably without question pushing it as far as being able to use this knife. I'm not sure if this will go through it because it is right on the edge. It'll go through it. The question is whether I can get it out the other side. Oh, we made it. So really pushing it. I'm going to show you guys what we were able to do here. You can see the size. I had about a ½ inch of blade on the other side. So obviously the BusyBee makes quick work of batoning some wood down. So let's see if we can make some shavings and some curls. So you do have to get just kind of used to it a little bit. Most of my knives are Scandinavian grind, and when you make, and I'm really used to using those knives and that kind of edge, and you have to just get a little used to making these curls. But as you guys can see, if you go back and you look at the reviews from the other guys, you see what they've done to this knife as far as utilizing it, and the fact that all I did was strop it. No stone to it, nothing like that. And this is better than I thought it would do, quite frankly. Alright guys, so I have my Nathan 4071 fire steel here. Let's see what this will do, what the spine of this knife will do here. I'll take that. Now y'all can see that this knife is creating awesome sparks here. Now guys, I hope you can see that really well. I think you can. Move y'all in just a little bit. You can see, after all that abuse, just look at this. Nice little shavings. No problem. Well, the last storm seems to have provided us with some silver maple to chop up and maybe make some spoons out of. What do y'all think? Always something to do. Alright guys, so what did we learn today? Well, we learned two things. We relearned that being in a hurry and poor fire preparation is not going to work. I just didn't have a lot of time to shoot my video today and really didn't put things together the way I should to make a fire. Okay, I got frustrated, came back, did a little more preparation. I feel better. Don't y'all?
Alright, let's go back to my wrap-up.
That's it. We learned something else. We learned that this Battle Horse Knives BusyBee is pretty awesome, in my opinion. Kind of summarizing what I think about it. Really, really comfortable in the hand. Very easy to manipulate. Feels like a high quality $150 knife should feel. Heavy, which I like. Not too big, not too small, which I like. Extremely sharp spine for shaving fat wood, striking a ferro rod, whatever it might be. All those things are almost imperative in my book for a bushcraft knife. It was able to baton through wood. That wood was hard. I think it might have been cherry, but I'm not 100% sure. Really hard wood, and was able to get through it no problem. Even on a piece that was really too big. It took a while. I was able to baton just the very tip and really put it under a pretty significant amount of abuse. This last half inch of this blade didn't phase it at all. Went right through it. Took me 2 or 3 times as long as normal to get through it, but it worked very well. You could see that it could get through the other batoning really simply. So this is all in the face of the fact that this knife's been fairly abused in 3 prior reviews. The edge is maintained pretty darn well. All I did was strop it, which I think is pretty reasonable, and it was able to really take care of the needs that I needed it to. I think stropping is something that you can do in the field very easily if you have a belt, whatever it might be. So I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to do, and not really rework the edge at all. Pretty impressive in my book that this thing was able to do everything it did after all the abuse it did without really any care for the blade at all. So what's my final impressions of the BHK BusyBee? I'll tell you honestly, I think all I have to say is that I would buy one of these. I really like it. It's different than a lot of the other bushcraft knives that I've seen. Just the contour of the handle, the feel of the handle, just the general overall look, a little bit different. And I certainly don't feel like I want to buy everything that I review. And a lot of things that I review, I kind of wish after I reviewed it that I hadn't bought it. This wouldn't be the case. So if you guys are looking for a high quality, really comfortable to use bushcraft knife that can do all the essentials, and by essentials I mean maintain an edge, shave, shavings, or strike a ferro rod with a very sharp spine, be comfortable in the hand, be able to baton pretty much anything you want as long as it's within the limits of the blade size, all coming with a very nice, very functional sheath. I don't think you have to look much further than the Battle Horse Knives BusyBee. So anyway, it's been pretty cool to take a look at this knife. I'm going to send it on its way. I appreciate you guys watching Paleo Hiker MD. I appreciate you guys watching this presentation of the outdoor arena. I'll be doing more outdoor arena reviews in the future, and I really appreciate everybody's input. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the other reviews from the other gentlemen who have done this particular knives review. See their take on things. My reviews are all about what I use these things for. This is what I use a bushcraft knife for. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Paleo Hiker MD.